Hello, we are here today. We're doing something a little bit different. We're actually close to St. Louis today. We're visiting family up here, so we stopped just outside of St. Louis. We're close to a town called Eureka, and we are here at the Route 66 State Park. And this state park has an interesting history because it didn't actually used to be a state park. It used to be a town called Times Beach. And Times Beach was a tiny little town. It started in the early 1920s when one of the local St. Louis newspapers actually bought a plot of land, and then in order to try and get their subscription numbers up, they sold plots of land for about $67 if you bought a subscription to the newspaper. So they kind of marketed as a resort town, and a lot of people moved out here, and this is the Merrimack River. They went fishing, and it was just kind of a fun place to be. But when the 1930s hit, a lot of those people couldn't afford the houses they already had, and so moved here to Times Beach and became permanent residents. That was just about the time Route 66 was getting big. It's right here on Route 66, so the town was pretty successful. But in the 1970s, they didn't have money to pave the roads. They had dirt roads. And so they hired someone to come in and spray the dust on the roads to kind of keep the dust down, and it wasn't so dusty here. Unfortunately, the person that sprayed the roads sprayed them with used motor oil, which, okay. But the bigger problem is that he sprayed them from a truck, which he had also used to transport some hazardous waste. The waste was from a plant that used to make Agent Orange, and it had about 2,000 times the maximum allowed limit of dioxin in it. So he ended up spraying all the streets with dioxin. They discovered it because he had also sprayed some horse stables, and a bunch of like 60 horses died. Dogs, cats, I think one child got very ill. And then in the 1980s, in 1982, they were starting to investigate this site for dioxin poisoning, but then this river flooded the whole town and spread the dioxin everywhere. The government came in, made it a super fun site. They got it all cleaned up, but all the residents had to leave. There's nothing left here. There's a big mound called the Incinerator Mound where everything in the town was thrown and burned and covered up. But once they were done cleaning it up, they donated it to the state of Missouri, and now it's a state park.